Upwork is a total nightmare when you're just getting started. Of course it's worth joining, there's no harm in trying. I still get work from Upwork. So what's up? Is Upwork worth it in 2023? And if so, who should consider the platform? We'll find it out, as well as how much people can earn on Upwork. So, Upwork, is it worth it? Well, it depends. Why? Because Upwork can mean a lot of different things to different freelancers depending on their skill sets, previous experiences, personal goals, or even their geographical location. This means that Upwork can be a very different experience for, say, a absolute beginner or a career professional but without any freelancing experience, or for somebody with a lot of freelancing experience. In this video, we'll be looking at the platform through these three typical freelancing archetypes. For each case, we will be looking at a number of different criteria, like what is the quality of gigs that they can expect, what kind of portfolio do they need to succeed, what are the expected earnings, is there room for growth on the platform, as well as my personal recommendations. Let's start. First, meet Marius. Marius is a social media marketer fresh out of college. I would like to become a freelancer, but I have zero professional experience, he says. So, we have an absolute beginner, an absolute freshman social media marketer here. Maybe he has managed some social stuff, for friends and family, but nothing like real. First, let's talk about what kind of gigs can Marius expect on Upwork. As an absolute beginner, Marius will struggle to stand out. Initially, he will have to try super hard to win his first projects. So without any experience in his craft, chances are that Marius can expect some, low quality and shorter gigs, at least initially. He will have to work hard to improve his skills and to earn the trust of clients. Simply put, he will have to climb the experience ladder. And that is to be expected. If you are, somebody completely new to social media marketing, for example, it is completely fine to learn on the job. But what makes Marius's job even more difficult, however, is his lack of portfolio. So the catch for Marius is that he has zero experience and he will probably not have any portfolio items to showcase. And without that, the essential trust building will not take place. So what I recommend for people like Marius, for our budding marketing expert, is to build up his portfolio with, for example, passion projects. Like he could talk to local charities as to volunteer his services, or he could also do fun little hypothetical challenges. For example, hey, I would like to write a fun mock social media post for a big brand like Nike. Like, how would that look like? Next, let's talk about payment. So again, this depends a lot on the project and your experience. But that being said, here's what the average rates are for social media marketers who are just starting out. This is Upwork's very own data, by the way, so you can trust this. By the way, I have created a small library of Upwork's pricing ranges, downloaded in the description below. Now going back to Marius. How do you price your bids on Upwork as an absolute beginner? Well, first of all, I would recommend to be realistic. Don't go too high, but at the same time, for the love of God, do not enter into a pricing war. The race to the bottom is an absolutely terrible idea. Yes, you are new on the platform, but for the love of God again, do value yourself and your time. As for room for growth on the platform, Marius has immense potential as a beginner. He can learn a lot actually from doing real relevant social media marketing. In fact, I am a firm believer in learning by doing, and in my experience, even a bad or boring gig on Upwork will teach you more about your craft than a whole university semester will ever do for you. Finally, my recommendations for someone like Marius. Is Upwork a good idea? I think yes. Upwork can be a great way to get those first initial impressions of your, chosen profession. It is one of the best ways to learn your craft. That being said, I would not expect to earn a lot of money, at least initially. So if I were in, Marius's shoes, I would rather think of Upwork as a paid internship, a place where I can get better at social media marketing. Next, meet Jill. Jill is a career professional. I am a graphic designer with 5 years of agency experience, but I have never freelanced before, she says. So Jill is a super experienced veteran. She really knows her craft and she is, comfortable in the agency world. However, she wants to be more independent, and has been toying with the idea of freelancing. What kind of gigs can she expect? Well, in Jill's case, I think it is a bit easier to get started. Here's why. She can easily create a banger portfolio from her previous agency work, meaning if she she can, demonstrate her craft through quality work, she can confidently bid on much higher quality gigs compared to Marius. As for her portfolio, again, I recommend that she creates a super portfolio with a short, best of the best selection. Quality over quantity is the way to go, so I recommend, picking 3 or 4 portfolio pieces, absolutely the best of the best stuff. I also recommend her to, include links to her professional profile on other sites like LinkedIn or Behance in order to establish her credibility as an industry expert. It is also important to emphasize this selling point in cover letters or even on her profile. So do write stuff like, hey, I bring, 5+ years of agency experience to the table. So that's a huge selling point for me. Next, let's talk about payment. Jill also has to be careful here not to enter bidding wars. She should price herself as she would in her regular 9-to-5 job. And UpWork actually agrees. These are the hourly rates that Jill can expect as an expert designer according to their very own data. So why should an expert stick to their guns even if they have a fresh profile on UpWork? Well, it's all about perceived value. For example, would you, buy a brand new iPhone for $50? That is kind of suspicious, right? Well, studies have shown that when we see a higher price, we immediately equate that with higher value. So higher price, higher value. It's the same story for Jill. Confidence is key here, and stand your ground and ask for a fair price for your immense experience. So my recommendations for Jill as far as UpWork is to be patient. She will have to, compete with much more established profiles on UpWork, and if she is not ready to go low in her pricing, it will take some time, but that's completely fine. Remember, UpWork is a numbers game. It is okay to bid, on 10, 20, 30 jobs a month until you finally get that one good project that is worth working on. Finally, meet Niles. Well, Niles is a freelance expert. I am already an established freelance developer, but I'm looking for new clients, he says. So with Niles, we have a savvy freelancer looking to expand his, lead generation channels. So should he set up a new UpWork profile? Well, as for the quality of gigs, what can a seasoned professional like Niles expect? Well, there are indeed some good projects on UpWork, right? High quality jobs, even on this platform, but it's not the norm, I will be honest with you. Niles will have to be very considerate when it comes to, deciding what kind of gigs to bid on. The good news though is that he is an expert, right? So he can really pick and choose what to pay attention to. Now with his portfolio, same as Jill, he will have to demonstrate his craft by putting some really kick-ass projects out in the window. For example, here's a project I did for Google, Microsoft, whatever. And yes, these kind of people do exist, and yes, these kind of people are on UpWork. Now, when it comes to pricing and potential earnings, UpWork agrees that you can price things quite high when you are a established developer. Even their own data shows that these kind of experts are definitely on the platform and that they do earn good money. Finally, my recommendation for someone like Niles, well, UpWork for a established freelancer serves one purpose only. It is yet another channel for people to find you, basically. Ideally, I would not rely on the platform as your sole source of income, but it can be a nice to have. Thus, I would recommend Niles to create a kick-ass profile and turn those notifications on. You never know what kind of opportunities come knocking. So yeah, that's it for today. Cheers for our fictional avatars, Marius, Jill, and Niles. As for you, make sure you check out our other video on UpWork and freelancing, and don't forget to subscribe to Freelance Pizza, a channel dedicated to aspiring and established freelance professionals. See you next time.